Welcome everybody to RPG Archive, where we archive all things RPGs. Me and Spencer, we're here to talk about Dragon Quest VI and the character class system. Have you got class? If so, well, be sure to subscribe. We're going to talk about the character classes and how to optimize them in Dragon Quest VI.
Excellent.
All right, Spencer, take us through it. What are the starter classes and the hybrid classes in Dragon Quest VI?
All right, so your starter classes are Warrior, Martial Artist, Mage, Priest, Dancer, Thief, Monster Masher, Merchant, and Gadabout. So all of these are just the ones that you don't need anything prior to. You can just immediately pick them, and they're available from the go. So Warrior's got your strength and HP. Martial artists rely on speed, and their skills are kick, punch. Although I feel like they still scaled with weaponry, but that might be, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the back end. Mages focus on wisdom and MP, and they learn a lot of cool spells. Priests focus on the healing spells and status spells. Seems pretty normal. Dancer, style and speed go up, and you learn some skills there. Thief, speed goes up. Most stats go down. The thief may also steal an item from an enemy at the end of a battle, which is pretty neat. I never did it. I kind of wish I did, now that I see it.
I tried, so I can speak to that in a minute.
Okay. Monster Masher, monsters may join the party when there is a Monster Masher present, although that was a Super Famicom thing. Merchants, the wisdom goes up, but most stats go down. At the end of a battle, a small portion of extra money is added to the party's income. And the Gadabout is style goes down, most stats drop. They ignore the party's commands. Sometimes instead of doing nothing, the Gadabout uses technique, but they're generally people you don't want in your party, but they're needed for certain things.
That's your jester.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest III. Before we go into the hybrid classes, what was your experience with the starter classes, and how did you optimize them once you got to the All Trades Abbey segment of the game?
So I'm such like a basic bitch when it comes to Dragon Quest. I don't like to go into anything too crazy. So my main character was a warrior. Carver was my martial artist, and then they swapped. And then Millie was my mage. Or no, Millie was my priest. Ashlyn was my mage, and then they swapped. How about you?
I took the wind class that was blowing my door open. I did a lot of warriors and a mage and a priest. I think I had a vision of like having some gladiators and maybe the hero at first, because you need to mix classes in order to get the best classes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you need a priest in this game. The warriors are like kind of your HP heavy guys, and the martial artists, they're a little faster, a little more agile, and they get more of those attack skills. So, I mean, those were my primary ones. I think I had a dancer at one point because I was like, oh, I'm going to go for the luminary style. I thought Monster Master would be cooler than it was. I thought you get to recruit monsters, which you didn't, so that was disappointing on the DS. Late game, because there's an enemy with a drop rate for Duplice Hat, which is an item that lets your magic attacks hit twice. And so I changed my whole party to thieves and tried to grind them out, and I mastered the class before I even picked up the item. So it didn't work as well as you would hope. I think if I played...
You get that. You also get that hat from a chest in post game.
In the post game, yeah, I saw.
I didn't know you could find that in the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. So you could theoretically get two duplicates.
You get many Duplice hats, but there's only like 3 or 4 characters that can even wear them. The merchant I thought would be cool, so I did Ashlyn as a merchant. I kind of wish you could just save on the field or change classes. We played Dragon Quest IX before this, and you could just change your classes on the field with a certain spell. but you would always have to go back to all trade abbeys. So merchant kind of disappointed me. It didn't matter so much because at the end of the day, all of these classes were valuable in making a hybrid class.
And those are Gladiator, a focus on strength, HP, speed, and defense. These guys are awesome. An Armamentalist. It's a strong magic skills and spells, which is weird. I didn't experiment with that. I don't know if you did.
I did. Yeah, my main was an Armamentalist by the end game.
That would make sense. I kind of wish I did that. The Paladin, strength, speed, and wisdom go up, and you combine priest and martial artist skills. Sage, wisdom and HP go up, and high level of attack and healing spells are learned. That was my primary for 2 of my characters. Luminary, style is the only stat that goes up. An assortment of skills are learned. That'll help you win the beauty contest.
Hey, William, who's the goose? Slimington is winning it right now.
The Ranger, speed and wisdom go up, and an assortment of skills are learned. And Hero, the ultimate class, and all stats go up. I think so normally to learn that one. By the way, okay, so I'm sorry. The Gladiator, you have to learn the Warrior and Martial Artist to get it. Armamentalist has to be Warrior and Mage. Bless you. Paladin is Martial Artist and Priest. Sage is Mage and Priest. Luminary is Dancer and Gadabout. Ranger is Merchant and Thief and Beastmaster. I think all those are pretty quick to learn. The Hero, you have to learn Gladiator, Sage, Luminary, and Ranger, meaning it's by far the longest one to get because you have to learn.
Not only learn, you have to master them.
Right, you got to master all of those. But the main hero only has to master one of those classes. In mine, it was the Gladiator to get to become available to do the hero. So your hero will inevitably become a hero because he's awesome.
Say hero will save us.
What did your progression look like throughout this game?
I actually here's a kind of pro tip for newcomers too. The warrior class is huge to get a bunch of your guys to even just begin because warrior gets hatchet man, which is a critical hit attack. So for metal slimes, it's perfect. You just have to land one of them, and then it's like a automatic like insta kill for a metal slime. By the end game, here's the thing. I was going for a couple gladiators, so like you get an optional character like the slime knight, Gubrick, and I started making him a gladiator, but Terry's a gladiator by the time you get him, so it's not really necessary. Another thing that kind of messed me up was with my hero. I was like, oh, well, I'll go Armamentalist and maybe Hero later. Unfortunately, I mastered Armamentalist, but that's not one of the classes you need to master Hero. So it would have been insane to just go back and like master also Martial Artist and then master Gladiator and then start Hero. That's something that you could kind of do in post game. But if you want a hero, I mean, you got to plan that out. I don't even think it's really like possible to do within the main game for any character other than your main hero. In post game, it's a little different, but I don't know. I had a couple luminaries just because like I had like characters I wasn't using as much, and I was like, oh, it'll be cool to just see what it does because I didn't do luminary in Dragon Quest IX, and it was nice to have Hustle Dance, which is a free HP recovery skill to use in battle. Also, another cool thing is if you have the wagon, which you do in the end game, you can recover party members who are not in the party. So multi-heal also worked that way. That was really nice for my Sage. So my main 4, I think it was like Carver, Hero, Terry, and Millie had Armamentalist, Gladiator, Sage, and maybe a second Gladiator. 2 Gladiators, an Armamentalist, and a Sage. And then backups, Luminary, Ashlyn was a Ranger, which I just didn't really get anything out of, and then another Luminary or so. Oh, and then the monster classes. So I had Lizzie, which is automatically a dragon. And the dragon skills are really nice. They're free MP costers for like breath attacks, fire breath or ice breath. And some of them do some serious damage. And then I just changed Lizzie to a warrior to get it more HP.
Hmm. And then then if you want to touch on it, liquid metal slime, agility and defense doubled, but HP drastically lowered when it's powerful attack spells. I had touched on that in the post game, but it just by then I was kind of burnt out, so I didn't really go any further. I accidentally gave Carver, not doing any research, I gave Carver that, which you can only get like one, and then you can farm for them later. But you're given one, and I gave it to Carver, not thinking it was more of a defense item, like because I'm thinking liquid metal slime, like they're hard to kill. So I thought it'd make him more of a tank, but it's actually the exact opposite. It's like lowers everything and makes you learn spells. So I was like, oh shit. So I just reset
yeah.
I just reset my 3DS and gave it to Ashlyn to give her, but by then I was kind of burnt out anyway.
It's mixed though. I just want to say about the liquid metal slime. Because once you master the class, you get an extra 100 HP.
Oh,
and
do
also
you?
resistance to offensive attacks.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
so maybe I should give it to him. But you have to keep it
Yeah.
as that class, right? To get the resistance.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I'll have the guide here.
Now I recommend. I don't know, for the main character. I feel like Gladiator is decent. Armamentalist is probably a good one. Although the only reason I wouldn't do that one is it doesn't help you become a hero. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous on that. But man,
The Frizzle is worth it.
the main character having the main character in this actually does decently as a mage, especially as a hero. I use Giga Slash a lot, so having the mana would be nice for that. But I don't know. It depends on how you want to play that one. Carver would make an absolutely abysmal mage, so just don't even bother with that shit. But the other characters could generally do with those. Sages are so important. I don't really understand how a person would play this and not pick that. So at least one, but I did two. The other ones, I feel like they focused more on certain things. Like the Luminary would be really good. I think mostly. I'm speaking end game, of course. To me, Luminary would help you win the beauty contest. So, I don't really know how I would use that in like the final boss, and that's generally what I mean.
The way
by
that the
endgame.
guide recommends it is as once you master the Luminary class, to switch it over immediately because it's super weak. It's just nice to have Hustle Dance as a free HP recovery thing. Song of Salvation is the last skill that you get as Luminary, which revives all party members, but it like happens in a couple turns, and you have to keep the party member there, so it's useless. There's another spell though, Kerplunk Dance, that sacrifices their life to recover all or revive all party members. So that's probably a better spell. Otherwise, it just didn't. Luminary wasn't as much as it's cracked out to be.
Yeah, Ranger. I don't really see where that comes from. I don't.
No, and it's pointless, honestly, in the main story because you have to level up 3 classes. By the time I even started on Ranger, like for Ashlyn, the game was like over.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, you'd have to hit that one early because that one, I think Merchant, Thief, and Beastmaster are pretty quick professions as opposed to like the Gladiator one.
Yeah, well, let me explain this because each class has a certain speed at which you level them. So you would need to fight a certain number of battles to master them, and I have the numbers here. So Warrior is 150, Martial Artist is 200, Mage is 180, Priest is 150, Dancer is 120, Thief is 140, Monster Master is 165, and Merchant is 130. So
What Gadabout?
Oh, and Gadabout is 155.
Okay.
So that's about 450 versus if you're going for like warrior, that's like 350.
Hmm.
Also, I messed up in that. What was it? It was merchant, thief, and monster master. I had gadabout thinking that would be like the luminary thing. I tried not to look at the guide, so I had to do like 600 battles with Ashland. So maybe that was my fault.
Shit.
Do you want me to do the numbers for the hybrid ones?
Yeah, I might as well.
Gladiator 250, Armamentalist 240, Paladin 260, Sage 270, Ranger 200, Luminary 220, Hero 150.
So you kind of touched on it, but I feel like we should just hit it now. How to rank up these classes is kind of annoying. I like it and I don't like it. So you have to do battle and win battles, right? But they also have to be within a certain range of level, and all the areas have like a level cap, and you have to be under it. You're supposed to be fighting monsters that are technically stronger than you.
Mm.
Now, in the Super Nintendo version, I think this was the most difficult. And most restrictive. In Dragon Quest Six, like in general, the narrative is you're not actually supposed to grind because you don't want your level to be too high. So you're supposed to grind on theoretically, like you don't want your physical level to go up. You want your profession level to go up. They've really mitigated that, I think, in the future versions, especially the Android version. It's like almost not even an issue. But here it's still in the DS version. I think it's still there where it could be that you're fighting battles, but you aren't actually gaining any towards your class because the level of the area is too high. So you'll still probably never struggle to at least attain the one that you want. Like if your goal is to get a gladiator, I don't really foresee you struggling to hit that. It's kind of like what Teddy was saying. If you're trying to go for the hero class, it might be very, very difficult to attain that in a regular playthrough that isn't post game.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're the hero,
Yeah.
which you'll get that easily. But
If you know what you're doing, because I was not like intentionally going for the hero, and I changed my mind later. I was like, oh, actually, maybe hero gets Giga Slash, and that's recommended for final boss, so maybe I should go for that. Oh, you'll have to level up martial artist and then level up gladiator, and it's like, what? I can't do that. Don't we do 600 battles, right? 500 battles, right? No. So you got to make that decision early on.
yeah. That's the only reason I would not go for Armamentalist for the main guy. That might be a fun one after because you already have the warrior. But I would go straight to gladiator to hero if it were me.
It's almost worth just avoiding armamentalists altogether, so you have that possibility to level all your characters to become heroes.
Yeah. If your goal is post game and you want to like totally max out, definitely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the way to go. Is just skip Armamentalist, skip Paladin, and just go for the other ones. Which is unfortunate because I'm sure those have cool stuff. I didn't do any Paladin stuff, but did you touch on the Paladin?
The guide recommends against it. They say it's not really worth using against any of the bosses, which is funny because what we found out was that the bosses were harder in this game. But no, I didn't really feel like I needed to protect other party members.